Hello students, hope all of you are doing well and staying safe at your home. In the previous sessions, you have learned first and second parts of the second chapter, Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. Today, we are going to learn the last part of the lesson. Before we begin with this part, I'll give you a recap of the main points taught in the previous session. The chapter is an extract from Mandela's autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. He reflects upon the whole history of the South African struggle. He pays tribute to South African freedom fighters who sacrificed their lives for the cause of independence. From freedom fighters, he learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but the victory over fear. In this part of the lesson, Mandela recounts his fight for the freedom of his own people who were tortured by the whites. First of all, I'll read the first paragraph in last part. Listen carefully. Then I'll tell you meanings for difficult words and explain the same. This will be followed for the other paragraphs now. In life, every man has two obligations. Obligations to his family, to his parents, to his wife and children. And he has an obligation to his people, his community, his country. In a civil, humane society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart. A twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. Do you know what is obligation? Obligation means commitment or responsibility. Twin means two things making a pair. Inclinations means tendency. Isolated, kept apart from others. Inevitably, unavoidably. Ripped means removed forcibly. Twilight, unreal. For Mandela, every man has two obligations. One is towards his family and his parents, and the other is towards his people and his country. In a civil and humane society, one can fulfill these obligations according to one's abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was not possible. The white rulers followed the policy of apartheid. They had put many restrictions on blacks. Anyone who tried to fulfill his obligations to his people was punished and put into prison. With Mandela also the same thing happened. Now I will read second and third paragraphs in the last part. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free, free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast mealies under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. When I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. The transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased, and go where I chose. Later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family, the freedom not to be abstracted in a lawful life. Here, milis means maize, abided by means act according to something. Illusion means unreal thing. Transitory means continuing for a short time. Abstract here means block. For Mandela, freedom means different things at different stages of life. As a child, freedom meant to him the freedom to run in the field, swim in the stream, and ride on a bull. As a student, it meant the freedom to read what he liked and to go where he liked. As a young man, it meant to him the freedom to develop his potential, the freedom to earn his living, and the freedom to marry and have a family. But he realized that all these were transitory freedoms. Transitory freedoms are freedoms that change their significance with the different periods in one's life. For example, a child wants different kinds of freedoms from the ones that a grown up person wants. Now, freedom to Mandela meant the freedom of everyone who looked like him. In other words, the freedom of all African people. In the later stage of his life, he realized that the true meaning of freedom is freedom for all. He contrasts the transitory freedoms with the freedom to live a life of dignity. I'll read the next two paragraphs. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. That is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self respect that animated my life, that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one, and drove a law abiding attorney to become a criminal, that turned a family loving husband into a man without a home, that forced a life loving man to live like a monk. I am no more virtuous or self sacrificing than the next man. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and unlimited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Freedom is indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. Here, transform means to bring about a complete change. Attorney means lawyer. Monk, a member of religious group. Oppressor, a man who treats cruelly. Oppressed, a person treated cruelly. Curtailed means reduced. The desire for the freedom of his people totally animated Nelson Mandela's life. He was transformed from a frightened young man to a bold one. The desire turned a law-abiding attorney to a criminal. A family-loving husband was turned into a man without a home. That changed a life-loving man into a monk. Mandela was no more virtuous as self-sacrificing, but he could not even enjoy poor and limited freedom. He felt himself robbed when he came to know that his people were not free. He felt the slavery of his people a slavery of his own. It was this desire for the freedom of his people changed his life. The chains on any one of his people were chains on all of them. The chains on all of his people were the chains on him also. He felt the pain and fought for them. When the oppressor locks someone behind bars, he forgets that he himself is locked behind the bars of hatred and narrow-mindedness. In fact, the oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. Both of them need to be liberated from their prisons. Mandela said so because the oppressed was robbed when they suffered all that was against humanity. And the oppressor had to kill the good human being within himself before doing anything cruel to the other person. Children, I hope you have understood the lesson well. Now answer the questions given in page number 24 in your textbook. Comprehension check. Number 1. What twin obligations does Mandela mention? Number 2. What did being free mean to Mandela as a boy? and as a student. How does he contrast these transitory freedoms with the basic and honorable freedoms? Number 3. Does Mandela think the oppressor is free? Why or why not? Thinking about the text. Number 1. Why did such a large number of international leaders attend the inauguration? What did it signify the triumph of? Number 2. What does Mandela mean when he says he is simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before him? Number 3. Would you agree that the depths of oppression create heights of character? How does Mandela illustrate this? Can you add your own examples to this argument? Number 4. How did Mandela's understanding of freedom change with the age and experience? Number 5. How did Mandela's hunger for freedom change his life? I'll discuss answers for all these questions given in chapter 2 in the next session. Thank you very much.